right, and we're back. Welcome to LWN, people. We are, 2 days in a row on the big channel. Loving it. We had a great time last night with Jeff B. We had our brother John Estabrooks who called in on the call line, which we'll pull the call number up here in a little while. Give anybody who wants a chance to call in and add to the conversation, you're welcome to do so as soon as I put that call number up and turn the phones on. But a great time last night, Tammy, and we kind of reminisced. We kind of got caught up with everybody. Yesterday, I got an email in the morning from YouTube, and they gave us not one, not two, but all three of the big channels back. So it's been 3 years in the making to come back. So excited to do that. We've got a lot to cover. We're going to talk about what's going on today in America, which is the No Kings protest across America. Even here in the great state of Idaho, we have them doing the same thing. And here is a fact that cannot be disputed. If he was a king, you wouldn't be protesting. So
hello, say it louder for the people in back.
For the people in back.
Yeah.
If he is seriously a king and a dictator, you wouldn't be protesting today. Hopefully you heard that loud and clear.
Mm-hmm. Amen to that. Yeah, we have some interesting facts about what the other side demanded on us. I have a list of things I want to read when we get going on that. And it is very true. Here in Atlanta, one of the local news stations put out a message on social media saying, anybody who's attending the No Kings protest, please send in all your pictures because we'd love to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and videos, yes.
And I want to do a shout out real quick. I want to do a shout out to Jake. Jake is Tammy's son, and Tammy had some computer issues yesterday when we got the big channel back. I reached out to her, I said, "Hey, let's do a show tonight," and she hadn't had her computer on for a couple of weeks. So she went and turned her computer on, and of course, we all know there's always updates that have to be done. And so she started doing the update. Long story short, she had some technical difficulties. So instead of using the big computer, she's on her laptop right now. She doesn't have her microphone. There is only one King Jesus. Thank you for that. So she's on her backup computer, her laptop. Her son went out today, Jake, and got hard cords for the internet, for the Ethernet, and to plug in. So he's actually upstairs still working on her computer for her while she's down here doing the show with us. So thank you, Jake, for that. Really appreciated. And it's just wild how 1 minute you're not doing anything, the next minute we're 100 miles an hour. It's wild how, you think that we're going to get a break over the weekend, and boom, it's like every Friday or Saturday there's something breaking. We did invite Jeff B to be here this afternoon. He's going to try to make it. He's still at work. He said he's going to try to come in. So he's got the link. He may or may not show up. I can't guarantee you that. But we got a lot to cover. So go ahead, Tammy.
Yeah, well, the first thing, obviously, is the big thing, and it is the No Kings protest.
I know what I wanted to say. I'm sorry. I know what I had to say. So the whole point of the story, and thanking Jake for helping you out, was I'm going to have to start calling her Trucker Tammy because she's got the trucker headset on. She sounds like a trucker right now without her good mic. And so I like to poke at Tammy, and I might just change her nickname from Tammy Joe to Tammy the truck driver because she looks like a truck driver right now. She's sounding like a truck driver. Go ahead, Tammy.
No, actually, I look like a service helper saying, "How may I help you today?"
That's true. Like what do they call those? The callers?
Yes. I forget, customer service representative.
Yeah, when you call in and get one of those people that normally don't speak real good English, but at least we can understand what Tammy's saying.
Yes, at least so far. It may not be the quality you're used to, but that's just fine. Thanks a lot. Anyhow, let's talk about the No Kings protest. So as LW started the show saying, if there was a king, you wouldn't be protesting. So let's talk about how they are putting this spin on all of this to make and incite people to be upset and to protest and stuff like that. Because remember, Schumer is the main guy who said we are not reopening Congress and the Senate and all that to do any voting, any budgets, any, CRs until after this protest. And last night you were saying that you believe it's because he wants to trigger Trump into action prematurely. Well, we have to not forget that they are saying no kings, but they're the ones that told us to put our mask on,
Mm-hmm.
ones that told us we are to be locked down, that you will be fired if you didn't get the jab,
Yep.
that you can't go outside because fresh air isn't a good idea, that you need how many boosters now?
Yep.
Remember that. We don't accept your exemption because people wanted to put exemptions in. We had to file paperwork and all that stuff. So they were talking about that. They don't want us worshiping the real king because if you talk about Jesus Christ, oh my goodness, that brings up a whole nother situation there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, remember family members, they had to deal with the sickness, and some of them unfortunately passed away alone. The homeless never passed away in
Nope.
great multitudes from not getting it. Also, remember the hotline so your neighbors could report you if you broke code of having too many people in your house going
Mm-hmm.
outside
Yeah,
or whatever.
they had a tell on your neighbor hotline for sure.
Mm-hmm. Also, they said that mandates galore, that they could mandate things. What is that? Mandate, dictatorship, all this stuff.
Remember
Also,
during Obama? Remember during Obama, where if you did not carry insurance, Obamacare, you would get fined $1,200 a year for not carrying insurance.
mm-hmm.
That sounds
Yeah.
more like a dictatorship, a king to me, than what we have at this point.
Yep. And also, we weren't responsible for our health. We weren't allowed to make decisions about our health. They demanded control over our health by these mandates and by ostracizing people. Remember, businesses were lost and all of that for not participating in the Jabberdoodle. Remember the 6 feet apart? We aren't saying we have to be 6 feet apart protesting or anything like that. All of a sudden, they're not worried about the 6 feet apart, right? Some of them are still wearing those things over their face coverings, that is their choice, but that's the key. It was their choice. So when they come out and label a protest like this, no kings, what are they actually saying? I believe it's not necessarily Trump. I think it is a little deeper because we talk about a spiritual battle. I think that they are saying, we don't want you to celebrate Jesus, who is the king, the one and only.
Well, if you
That
think
is my
about it, ever
opinion.
since the Charlie Kirk incident, there have been millions of people coming to Christ. Church attendance is up 30-40% from what it normally is. Is there an underlining message of no king? And I put that in the title. If you guys caught it in the thumbnail, I put that in there on purpose. And I gave king a gold color as well. And Tammy says that's perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well today. But it's crazy. Here's my deal. Is I am really trying hard to be able to talk to both sides, both people, left and right. And it just seems like there's so much hatred toward each other that is the most difficult thing that we possibly can do nowadays, is have a real conversation with anybody about any kind of topic without people taking it sideways and it's a shouting match. So this whole no kings thing, I think that people have a right to protest, and I don't disagree with them protesting, even if it's against Trump. I'm fine with that. Here's where I draw the line in the sand. As long as it's peaceful, and we've sat there, Tammy, for a long time and watched where they said, well, this protest is mostly peaceful as there's a building and a cop car burning in the background. It's been nothing but lies. It's not peaceful, especially when you inject George Soros, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and individuals like that are out there that are gaslighting the American people, whether it be left or right. And we get gaslit on the right as well. It's not just one-sided here. It's not just the left. It's the right too. They do the same shit to us to get us emotionally charged to want to go out and make wrong choices. So today, if it's about no kings, I'm fine with that. You have every right to put out your statements, your beliefs, your opinions, as long as it's peaceful. That's really the only thing that I have drawn in the line in the sand, is as long as it's peaceful, you have a right to protest. I think it's important for us to keep that right. Now, I disagreed with the White House spokes secretary, when she said that we're gonna open up free speech to the conservatives again, but it sounded like they were going to start censoring the left. Now, I totally disagree with that. I do not want any speech censored whatsoever. I think it's not per the Constitution, and it's not who we are as people to censor other people's speech. Whether you like it, you don't like it, you disagree with it, doesn't matter to me. Here's my thing is I want to know what they're saying because I want to know how freaking crazy they are. So please let them have free speech because I need to know what the hell's going on.
Well, when we look at free speech as well, we were considered crazy and all that for such a very long time. And they said we worshiped Trump in a way that we shouldn't. And that wasn't never it at all. So when it's free speech, it should be constructive, not one side shut down and the other side has free reign. I agree with that 100%. But my thing is on the left, I can't find a good conversation on the left. I have really tried hard. All it does, most of the time, I won't say always, maybe I've missed something, but they never have facts. They're always attacking, they're name calling, and it's like high school or middle school. That is what I don't like. When, we had that with Donald Trump going through all he went through. We never burned the streets. We never protested that way. We didn't set restaurants on fire, etc. We aren't the ones right now trying to block ICE from arresting illegals and criminals out of the cities. You cannot tell me you really honestly believe some of these cities are safe and that ICE shouldn't be there. You may not like the fact that they're there, but if their governing people in those cities really cared about the people living there, it would not get to this level. We would not see continuous videos of people causing fires in the street, robbing stores, beating people up, killing people, et cetera, et cetera. That is not government caring about their people at all. So that is where I have a problem. When you aren't safe, and all of us can relate because we have spouses, friends, family that we care about. And, some of us unfortunately know people that were attacked and unalived unfairly and unjustly. Has that always happened in this country? Yes, but not at the level it is now. When you are protecting illegals and you are blocking ICE from doing their job, that is very telling to me. And it is not pro-America, pro-safety for the citizens. Why wouldn't you like ICE in there? And if you don't, why aren't you calling up your representative saying, hey, if you don't want ICE here, why don't you take care of it with the police that you have in our cities instead of defunding them?
Good points. I also remember the left media saying that during the Biden years, they said that they should round up all these conservatives and we should be sent to a camp and reprogrammed. That was said by social media. I can't remember what news network it was, CNN, MSNBC, something like that. But one of the people had said that, and I was like, wow, that's it's pretty wild how you guys want to round us up and reprogram us. But yet Donald Trump is a dictator and a king. Now, I don't agree with everything that he does. I don't agree with everything that he says. I don't agree with all of his policies. But for the most part, is he getting the country back on track? I mean, I guess some people could probably debate that. I feel like there are certain things, me personally, I'm still not happy with. And there are things that haven't changed for me. But, I mean, it has only been 8-9 months. So we're going to give it a little more time and see how it all unfolds.
And don't forget, it has only been that amount of time. People are critical of him no matter how much he works, no matter what he does. There are some that are never, ever going to give him credit for anything. And that's just, to me, it's ridiculous. That's one-sided, blindsided. That is not trying to work together for the betterment of America. What happened to both sides working together? Not one side of the government holding hostage the other side to do a protest. And why aren't people upset about the military and the police and all the people that they claim that are on financial aid not getting paid? You don't hear anything about that. They're standing their ground because these Democrats want all this money for this ridiculous stuff in South America or South Africa or whatever it is. There's all this breakdown of the millions and that dollars they want to go to foreign countries, again, for the stupidest of stuff. That's what they're holding out for. They aren't holding out for anything that is going to help Americans at all or help U.S. citizens. If we're so far in debt, why are you still wanting to give your money to other countries in the world for ridiculous stuff? And I, for one, with the downsizing of the federal government and everything, so far so good. Trump has got the military paid, and he's working on getting the people who have need financial aid paid. So those very people that protect even the people that don't agree with Trump and what he's doing, he's making sure that they are safe. And that is what a leader is about, making everybody safe. He's telling these people, mess with us, go after the police, go after ICE, do something illegal here, and we're coming after you. Why is that such a problem? Because if any one of our asses stepped into another country and did what some of these people are doing, we would be not just jailed, probably unalived. So why is America the land of tolerance of that bullshit? And I don't mean to curse, and I'm sorry, but I'm just had it with these people trying to justify their insanity.
A lot of it is insanity for sure. And I just have to scratch my head sometimes and say, what the hell are we watching right here? Because it's definitely not what America used to be. And
Right.
I feel like it's time to bring back some of the old school thoughts and the stuff that kept us on the straight and narrow and the stuff that made
Yeah.
America great. It's really time to get back to that. Is there any of this stuff that you want me to pull up on screen, Tammy,
Well,
as we're sitting here talking?
Yeah, let's
Because
the first,
I want to say real quick. I want to say real
Okay.
quick because we don't do our due diligence. If you guys haven't done it yet, please hit that like button, subscribe to us, hit the notification bell. It's been 3 years and people are getting notifications from 3 years ago that we're back on. So
yeah.
hit that like button, hit the notification bell, subscribe to us if you haven't subscribed. More importantly, share us out. And we're trying to build up our YouTube or our Facebook channel again since it got hijacked. So when the mods drop the link to our Facebook page there in the chat, if you can hop over there and subscribe to Facebook as well. Tammy puts a lot of information in there all week long. All the updates, breaking news is all over on Facebook. And for some of you who haven't seen us for 3 years, I think I seen a comment there in the chat. Hey, I just got a notification. Haven't seen you for 3 years. We've been on Facebook the whole time. This channel got taken down 3 years ago and was just given back to me yesterday. So we're back. Glad to be back, continuing to move forward. So hitting that like button. I looked at the algorithm yesterday from last night's show, and things were really good, Tammy. We had a lot of likes, a lot of stuff going on from last night's show. So pretty excited for that and excited for the direction that we're going to be headed in.
Yeah, me too. All right, so I'm going to read a couple comments while you pull up. The first one is the first thing that Gmail I sent. It's photos from the DC Kings, and then after that, and we look at that, we're going to scroll down to number 4, which is the No Kings article with George Soros ties, because we don't just conspire and say untruths. We go to facts and what is out there. Put out there. So the first one is going to be photos from DC Kings, you guys. But I do want to say, Sharon Hudgens, I agree with you. We are awakened. We did not start the fire. And United We Stand said, look at, they are openly supporting the Democratic Socialist for mayor in New York. And Trump has said, we will never be socialist. So you look at that guy. I don't even remember his name. It's hard to even pronounce his name, but he's openly totally radical and crazy. And that is not even what New Yorkers want. And they're more liberal and radical than conservatives, obviously. But unfortunately, something is going on because apparently he's got an 87% lead over Cuomo.
Cuomo, he's getting his ass handed to him right now. He really is.
He is. So look at some of these. Remove the regime. That hit me because I'm like, really? When we had the last administration, we find out now, like all of us saw, that Biden was not the healthiest and that they were covering for him. So it was, to me, that was a regime taking control over the elected president. And we also know about the auto pen where he did not sign the different EOs and different things, that it was his staff members, and there's actual proof of that. So when you talk about the regime, what are you really meaning? Because when you're pro-America and you're trying to take out illegals and drug dealers and get the fentanyl and everything out of this great country, how can that be a regime? Because he's actually taking control and putting the charge in these cities to gather the people who are not wanted here, who want to cause harm and destruction to not just you and I, to our children, to our children's children. They want them addicted to drugs. They want them taking the drugs. So, but the good thing is when you look through these comments, it's funny because a lot of people are not falling for it. So, I love the comments in there. That sometimes you don't get a good feel of comments because usually the people attack it one way or the other. But the positive thing is, it is getting so ridiculous. Nobody is falling for shutting the government down just so you can hold a protest and not willing to work with the other side. If you can agree with that, to me, that's barbaric and it's ridiculous. And so that's what there is about that one. If we drop down to four, number four that I sent, it is the King's Soros ties. Now, we've heard George Soros's name over and over and over again. And it has never been something good or something positive for this country. It is always him doing dark, underhanded dealings, right? So when you look at this article, you can read for yourself all the facts and all the information that George Soros is funding all of this.
He funds a lot of it.
Yes,
A lot of
yes.
stuff.
Day of Defiance. What are you defying against? Pro-America, pro-working to open government, to the very people that this side says needs help, that needs assistance for food, for, their checks from the state and stuff like that, are the very ones that they are affecting by staying shut down. It is actually insanity. It makes no sense whatsoever. And then those are just comments that they make about it. But I want to show you here, it's just an article that you can go to on Gateway Pundit and you can find out this information. It's not like it's just Mike or I talking about this, saying this, feeling one way about it. There's evidence. And that's what I always love about the side of truth and the side of what is really going on is we try to be transparent and we try to have the paperwork. We try to have the paper trail. We try to have everything. We don't just say, hey, guess what? Biden did this and we don't like it. We're going to just go ahead and protest. We always have our facts and we always have our little ducks in a row and we have the history. And I think that's truly important. You know what I mean? And that's what I have to say about that. Because I just get fired.
I know you got a lot going on, Tammy, so I'm just letting you go.
Yeah. Well, it's just so lopsided. And okay, United We Stand. We did hear what Trump said about the Venezuelan president, that you mess with us and we're coming after you, pretty much, right?
Pretty much.
Let's talk about this. He's been very, very patient, I think Trump has. Now, was he goofy his first term? Does he say things people don't like? Of course he does. Nobody's perfect and you're not everybody's cup of tea. That's just life, right? Deal with it. But this time around, lately, and you and I talked about this, at how serious he is pulling his cards from dealing with the mob in New York City to build that up, to dealing with the Saudis, to dealing with the Israelis. And he's telling everybody
He's dealing with
everything.
He's dealing with everything all at one time, which I don't know how the guy has the time or the energy that he does to keep going like he does. It's wild to see a guy his age continue to just go for it constantly, 24 hours a day, no stop, no quit. And like you said, it's the Israelis, it's Putin, it's Venezuela, it's just nonstop, constant. We dealt with all the generals and stuff when Pete Hegseth had them all come to D.C. He deals with domestic things. It's wild to see this guy in action, and he just never slows down, never stops, never quits. I
But
don't know what kind of drugs he's taking, but I'd sure like to have a little bit of it.
that has got to be one heck of a vitamin IV that they stick in his arm, because that's the other thing he doesn't get credit for. People want to make fun of his hair, fun of his skin tone, his spray tan, whatever. But you know what? Give the guy credit. Can anybody out there who makes fun of him last as long as he does? Spit out the facts like he does. He's on Air Force One, and he's always going back there talking to the press pool, taking questions outside of the White House lawn. Biden didn't do that.
That's a great point, Tammy. Remember, like the first year of the Biden administration, he only met with the press maybe a handful of times, and everything that he had was pre-written, scripted. He was told who to call on in the press because they gave him softball pitches for all of his questions. I mean, it was ridiculous to see that shit happen, to be honest with you. It was horrible to sit there and see such a weak person running our country. Well, I know he wasn't running. He was the face of it, right? That's who they put out there in front of everybody. But here Trump is. He'll go to bat. He'll fight them all. He don't give two shits. Matter of fact, didn't they just get kicked out of the Pentagon? The press this week got kicked out of the Pentagon by Hegseth. He said, you know what? No.
Well, also, a lot of them turned in their badges because there was a protocol they put in place. And a lot of these press people said, I'm not signing that. I'm not doing that. And they walked away. And I
probably
thought,
something about not putting lies out to the American people would be my guess. Hey, you're not allowed to spin this shit, put out lies, put out disinformation, misinformation to the American people. And they didn't want to sign that because they got their marching orders. You know, They have sat there and lied and manipulated and sent out misinformation, disinformation, straight up lying to the American people for a long time. And they're being called on it. Their feet are being held to the carpet, and we're not putting up with it anymore. CNN has some of the lowest numbers now. Like, nobody's watching that shit. Nobody watches, except for if you're on the left, CNN or any of that crap that they put out. I don't even watch Fox anymore. Like, I don't really watch any of that news because I think it's all manipulation and it's all misinformation, disinformation. I don't trust Fox News. So,
yeah. And don't forget, too, President Trump, a lot of the leaders, including Putin, came out and agreed and said this war wouldn't have probably happened was he president. Now you turn around and say Trump's an egomaniac for saying that, but that's the truth. When you've got world leaders saying the same thing, when you've got world leaders negotiating and talking with him and coming to the White House, and Zelensky, as much as Trump has said about Zelensky, he gives him chances and then he calls him out. Zelensky comes running back. So what does that tell you? Biden, they didn't communicate with him. This is Biden handing out our money, our weapons, everything left and right. Who needs it? As long as it wasn't the United States citizens or people in this country that needed it. Everybody else, it was a free-for-all. They didn't respect him, and there was no reason to really attack us or have any problems with us because that administration gave them everything they wanted. And now that Trump is not in standing up for us first, they're attacking us. People say there's threatening of that, but the reality is they're dealing with us. The tariffs were not a bad thing. They're turning out to be a good thing, bringing in lots of money. I know that was a big scary thing for a lot of people, but why in the hell is it so wrong to say, I just want equal tariffs? Why does the United States always have to take it in the rear and pay way more for tariffs on other things, and that's okay, but we aren't allowed to ask for it back
because we've allowed it to happen. We've voted in candidates that, in my opinion, and I think there's facts out there to support my opinion, they've been bought and paid for. They've been bought and paid for by Israel. They've been bought and paid for by these other countries. There's always a kickback. There's always some kind of lining their pockets. And that's why they vote the way they do, and that's why they send out the money that they send out, is because they benefit from it. Think about this, Tammy. There's not one person in government that has taken either a position as a congressman or woman or a representative, state representative, Speaker of the House, and all the things that has not benefited from that position financially. They go in broke as a joke. They go in with $40,000 to their name. They come out multimillionaires. They're not, listen, I don't give a shit who you are listening to this show right now. They are not becoming multimillionaires on a $150,000 salary a year. They are becoming multimillionaires for insider trading and for dealing with these countries and sending aid to these countries. And then there are kickbacks and things that are coming back to them that are influencing the way that they vote and the way that they distribute taxpayer money, which, in my opinion, we shouldn't be sending any country taxpayer money until we take care of this country first.
Yes.
Like, we should be paying the debt off. We should be taking care of our homeless, our veterans, before we ever think about sending money outside this country.
Absolutely.
Is that America first? Is that nationalism? Fucking A right it is. Like, I pay a lot of money in taxes. I pay 33% of my wage, and I work my ass off all week long, to taxes. Why the hell should I be paying that kind of tax when I live in America? Like, this is absolutely unacceptable. And again, we've allowed it to happen. And I said this, I was watching one of my old films from 4 or 5 years ago, and I said this. I said, when we vote somebody in office and they go in there and do the exact opposite of what we voted them to go in there for, instead of us letting them finish their 4-year term or their 6-year term, we should fire them immediately. We should not allow them to finish a 4-year term or a 6-year term. And I think John Estabrook said it good last night, where he said, well, they tell you that they need 5 years to do what they said they were going to do, so that guarantees them a second term. Bullshit. You can't get that shit done, or you're not voting the way that we want you to vote, then we should recall them immediately. We should not allow these politicians to stay in there when they've proven to us that they're incompetent and they're incapable of doing what they told us they were going to do. And the other thing is, I don't know why 360 million Americans don't say this and fight for it like tooth and nail. We need term limits on these politicians, period. You know, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Pelosi, Mitch, the Turtle Man, McConnell, Lindsey Graham. There's so many of them on the left and the right that have been there 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, damn near 60 years. What the hell are these people doing in there for 4, 5, and 6 decades? Yeah. Mitch the Turtle Man McConnell fell the other day, fell down. Some of them say, well, he fell on purpose so he didn't have to answer the question. I think the guy has got dementia. I think he's no better off as far as his health goes than Joe Biden himself. What the fuck is this guy still in office for?
I know. It makes absolutely no sense. We've got very lazy and content and trusting people that are supposedly
can't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them.
No, I don't either. You know, Rand Paul's under fire now. Ted Cruz coming out. That just really irks me about his whole main thing was to root for Israel and protect Israel and do stuff for Israel.
Why?
Can you do that?
Why?
Yeah.
I gotta ask. I'm gonna ask the chat this question. I gotta ask this chat this question. And if you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Hit the notification bell so that you guys get notifications on when we're coming live, because we're going to continue to do this. Tammy and I are stepping up the plate. We're going to be moving forward with this channel. So hit that notification bell and subscribe to us if you haven't subscribed. I think yesterday we gained 45 subscribers yesterday. So thank you to all the people who either resubscribed to us or subscribed to us the first time. Thank you. And share us out. If you can share us out on any of your platforms, social media, Facebook, any of those things, that helps a lot of people that have been looking for us for a long time. I mean, I've seen comments where people haven't seen us for 3 years. We didn't quit. We just got taken down and we went to other channels and started other platforms. So we've been in this since the last time you've seen us, and things have changed. So with that being said, I can't even remember where I was going with this.
That's okay. I want to say real quick before we keep going. I noticed a comment from a Sarah McLean. She said, Mike, may I ask how your sweet parents are doing? I've watched you from the very beginning. I'm a silent subscriber, and thank you so much. So,
well, I'll give you an update on my parents. My dad's doing really well. Mom's health has gotten better, and it has its good days and its bad days. She gets affected mostly by the wildfire smoke gets to her the worst, but she's doing really good. So mom and dad are doing good. Got to spend a lot of time with them this summer, and that was a lot of fun too. So anyway, That's
Okay,
the update on the parents.
that's good. I just trying to catch that. And also, happy anniversary 250th to the
Oh, I was
Marines.
going to ask them a question. That's what it
Yep,
was.
that's
Okay,
it.
let me finish, Tammy.
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. So this is the question that I want to ask the chat. Put your comments in the chat. If you catch this show later today or tomorrow, put your comments in there for us. Now, I've had this conversation with Tammy, and I find this very interesting. I'm not an expert on Judaism. I'm not an expert on Israel. Don't pretend to be one. Don't claim to be one. And I don't play one on YouTube. But is it true? Is it true that Jewish people, the Jewish religion, Judaism, Israel themselves, and I could be way off base on this, but do they believe in Jesus Christ? Do they believe that Jesus was the Messiah? Do they believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins? Or do they believe something completely different? Because I've been around. I've listened to other people who claim that they have studied this. So my question to chat is, do they believe in Jesus Christ? If they do believe in Jesus Christ, that's awesome. But if the answer is no, then my question to the chat, and I would like to see your answers, is why in the fuck do we keep sending them money, and why are we still supporting and protecting them if they don't believe in Jesus Christ? And if, I mean, this is where I get confused. This is where I'm like scratching my head talking to Tammy going, why are we doing this? And if they are persecuting Christians, why are we still protecting them? So it leads me to this point. Is America compromised? Are our politicians compromised by the AIPAC? Are they being bought and paid for? And why? Why are we being controlled by Israel? And why are we supporting somebody who possibly, again, I don't know the facts. I am just asking a question. If they don't believe in Jesus Christ, they don't believe that he was the Messiah, and the Jews were the ones who actually crucified Christ. If you go back in history and look at that, it wasn't the Romans. It was actually the Jews that crucified him, which we all had to have salvation. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for grace and salvation. Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior. And so that's kind of my thing is I struggle with that. I struggle with Ted Cruz always wanting to support Israel. And I just feel like there's moments where Israel could drag us into another third, fourth world war. And why are we protecting this? Why are we doing it? That's my question to you, the chat, the viewers, the listeners. You guys can put any comment in there you want. It can be yes, it can be no. You can tell me I'm way off base, that biblically it says that we have to support Israel, but that's Old Testament. And I think people split hairs with that. I think that is something that was for another time. I don't think that God ever meant that we should have to support somebody who doesn't believe in his son. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. Why would God put in the Bible that we should support Israel and anybody who is not for Israel is against me if they don't even believe in the Messiah? So I again, maybe you guys can enlighten me. Maybe you guys can educate me. Please put your comments there in chat. And if you're watching this later and there's no live chat, please drop me a comment in the comment section and educate me and tell me, why are we doing this? Do you believe that they believe in Jesus Christ? And that's my deal, Tammy. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out.
I think that's a very important part, and that's what I talk about every time you mention Jesus Christ. He's the only one you mention that you can die, get unalived because of supporting him. Christians
and was Charlie Kirk going to expose that? That was another question that I had. Is Charlie Kirk no longer with us because he was about to expose Israel? Put your comments in there.
Yeah, and Charlie Kirk is a whole big deal because there are some people that do think Jesus Christ is the Lord Messiah, died for our sins and rose, and there's some that don't. This is the problem. It's not the Israeli people that believe in Jesus Christ. It's the leaders, Benjamin Netanyahu and the others, that they demand us and they use that to make us support them. And then they use things against their own people. Not very good leaders. Let's just say there's crookedness that goes on. There's people that are bought. If you listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene and some other Congress people, and when they tell you that these new congressmen that come in each year, they get a trip to Israel where they kiss the wall and they learn about things. But there's deals that are made that if you support certain things, you get support certain kickbacks, on and on. Now, if it's a legit up and up thing, it wouldn't be like that. They wouldn't apply pressure. And if you listen to Candace Owens, she's putting a whole bunch of stuff out there. Now, do I know all the facts? Absolutely not. But I'm gathering my information from people that have been there, people that are actually friends. We're friends with Charlie Kirk, people that experience the different branches of government through these different countries. It is not on the up and up, and it is not all straight and easy and nice. It is not in support of their people in Israel all the time. So it does get messy because there are different factions or fractions of beliefs and religious beliefs there. But when you can't even feel safe to go to the Holy Land in Jerusalem and walk the steps that Jesus Christ did, that's a problem right there. So what I'm saying is, they try to wipe Jesus Christ from the slate, from the minds. There are different religions that say we are our own gods. There are different religions that believe Jesus was just a man. There are different religions that say we are our own little
I'm
cults.
just asking the question.
Of it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm just asking the question. I mean, I'm not, people are getting upset and leaving. I'm just asking a question. I want to know, what do you know? What do you think? Answer the question, enlighten me, educate me. I do know quite a few things about this, but I still want to know what the audience thinks and what they think is real. And so I'm not a big fan of the government for
Right.
Israel right now. I don't believe in Israel's government. Now the people, I believe that there's all kinds of good people over there, and I feel like those poor people are caught in the middle of all this stuff. I mean, I couldn't imagine living in Israel and have to worry about being bombed and killed and just all the things that happens on a daily basis there. When the sirens go off, you have to go to the bomb shelters. It would have to be so stressful to be living in Israel right now, no matter what ethnic group you are, because there's all kinds of people that live in Israel too. It's not just the Jewish people. It's Palestinians. It's Americans. Like, there's a lot of people that live over there full time. And so I'm just curious. I'm asking the question because I'm hoping that this interaction with the audience, we can learn some stuff. There might be something that I don't know, that I haven't heard, that I haven't seen before. So that's why I'm asking the question, because it just seems like we get drawn into a lot of things, and Israel seems to be at the center of it. And I'm just curious, why do we continue to do this? Why do we continue to support them? I get the whole military part of it, and they have some of the best intel in the world, and they have spies, and they have all this stuff. I understand all that fully. I'm asking more maybe on a more spiritual level, personal level, biblical level. Why is it that we're still drawn into this, and why do we still participate in basically whatever Israel wants, we give them?
Yeah. Yeah. And seems very one-sided, and it is very touchy. And I don't think everybody knows everything. But what happens is crookedness, power, and greed get in there and control, just like back in the Roman days. It is about power and control, and you're made to feel guilty. You're called names if you question it. To question things is how we learn. To shut somebody down. How many relationships do you have in your life are good that when you don't talk to each other, you don't ask questions, you don't challenge each other for knowledge, right? They don't last very long. And that's where I think that we got so far sensitive that people were afraid to talk about anything because they were labeled certain things. And some people's professions were destroyed. Their lives were destroyed just by asking questions. And hi, Sharon Whitmore. Love you. It's been a long time since we saw you.
I see a lot of names in here I haven't seen, like Angela H. Good to see you too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Debbie Golden. Good to see you on Facebook.
Yeah. So reading through some of these comments, we have a very smart audience. I love how they are
We have
handling
one of
it.
the smartest audiences out there. We do.
Yeah, they're making wonderful comments for us to ponder and think over. They're not just saying you're idiots and, bad things. They are giving what they know, and I love this. So later after the show, I'm going to scroll through all these so I can read them and learn. And that's what this is about, because this is stuff that is on everybody's minds now. And with the Charlie Kirk, now we have to be very careful, because with the Charlie Kirk thing, we know all the controversy that's been out there. We know there's been blame placed on people. Things didn't add up, blah, blah, blah. And some people, they have all these different things about this. I was devastated when I saw that happen to him. I was an emotional wreck, and it horrified me. Now they're talking about a religious movement moving forward, which is amazing. And all these different 150,000 different chapters to join Turning Point USA and stuff like that, which is a blessing. But one thing I want to caution people about, we have to be very careful with. If you do believe Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you have to watch it and not get bought up in the pot and circumstance, because some of the people that were at a celebration in life do not believe that. They are new apostate religion people. They are people that talk everything but Jesus Christ, right? It's like kumbaya. We're all great. We're all going to be together. We're all going to unify. Then you can be very careful, because that can lead to the one world religion that we talked about many years ago. We've read about it, just like the one world government and all that. So we have to be very wise. Emotions run high and raw, and that's where we can get pulled in to the wrong things. Not everything visually is what we think it is. So we have to take a pause. And yes, it is wonderful. People are brought together. There's wonderful things that have come from this, but there's also questions, and there's also concerning things, because a lot of the people that have been on Charlie Kirk's show, if Charlie Kirk believed Jesus Christ was the Lord and Savior, a lot of the people that said we're unifying around what happened to Charlie and becoming one don't believe that. So how do you unify with somebody that doesn't believe Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior? So it gets very tricky, and we have to be very careful.
I agree with that. You got to be careful who you're following, who you're listening to. And there's a lot of traps out there. And that's why I stay Captain Skeptic, because I'm trying to be careful and have discernment. And yes, I do ask God for discernment, and He definitely helps me through that. So appreciate
Yes.
all the comments. I know that's a hard question for some people. Some people don't want to
Yes.
hear it. Some people align with Israel. I hate to say this, but I'm just going to say it blindly. And I just want to know what people's thoughts are on all that stuff. So Tammy, we still
Yep.
have a few
Yep.
things here
Let's, yes,
teed
let's
up if you wanna move on with some of the other stuff.
Number 2, can you pull up number 2? And we're going to read it. And it's President Trump's statement on reducing the federal workforce, because I know that people were concerned about that. Now, with the government shutdown, so far, so good, you guys. I'm not seeing a problem with them being shut down, in a sense, because President Trump has ensured that some of these people that could be affected so far have not been affected. So, my question is it really a bad thing to reduce the government? Is it really a bad thing for it to be shut down? Are we seeing how much maybe we really don't
Don't
need all
need,
of it?
yeah. The Secretary of Education was worried with the shutdown that people are going to realize that we don't need the education department for America, because a lot of this stuff can go back to the states. So I'm seeing some things. I think a lot of it is good with the shutdown. We're seeing what we can live with and what we can't live with, and what we can't live without. And this whole shutdown thing, I think, could definitely open some eyes. And here's the question: are they using it for another reason? Are they draining the swamp while the government shut down? I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are there in the chat. What do you really think is going on with this government shutdown?
Yeah, and while they are typing that up, I would like to read this statement, if you
Go
don't
for it,
mind.
Tammy.
It,
Go
sa-
for it.
it says, by the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered, Section 1, Background: in just 8 months, my administration has dramatically reduced the size of the federal workforce, improving the efficient delivery of government services while prioritizing hiring and national security, immigration enforcement, public safety, and other roles that further my administration's priorities and benefit American taxpayers. The result of this approach have surpassed the ratio of 4 departures for each new hire set forth in Executive Order 14210 of February 11th, 2025, implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency Workforce Optimization Initiative, DOGE, to protect and expand upon these historic improvements and to ensure that the federal government is optimally staffed to meet critical mission needs and implement the agenda that the American people elected me to pursue. Federal hiring shall be subject to the following policies and procedures moving forward. Policies and procedures to govern federal hiring, Section 2. No federal civilian position that is vacant may be filled, and no new position that may be created, except as provided for in this order or required by applicable law, except as set forth in Section 3 of this order. This policy applies to all executive departments and agencies, regardless of their source or operational programmatic funding, which is amazing. So he's not firing or allowing and or eliminating this just to put other people in there, because then what's the point?
Yeah.
So I love how he says it's to put forth the agenda that the American people voted him to do, to be more efficient, to carry out the things we want carried out, not just overreaching, overstepping, overabundance of government that really just absorbs money and doesn't get anything done. And I think that, to me, that's a good thing. I'm not worried about that. I love it. I think I voted for that, as a matter of fact.
I'm just reading some of the comments. Stephen T, brother, it's good to see you back. Haven't seen some of these names for
in a long
for
time.
a long time. So if you guys enjoy us being back, you can help us tremendously by smashing that like button, hit that notification bell as well. Subscribe to us if you haven't subscribed to us, unsubscribe to us. Maybe first time you found us, hit that subscription button and subscribe to us. And hit that notification button, and more importantly, share us out if you can. Find us over there on Facebook, because Tammy's putting stuff out all day, pretty much almost every day. You can get the latest updated news on our Facebook page, and the wonderful mods that we have. Drop that link in chat, and you guys can click on that, go over there, and help us build the Facebook page back up, because we were 15,000 strong on Facebook until I got hijacked. And somebody else took my page over, and Facebook won't do anything about it. So we had to end up starting a whole new Facebook page and start out from scratch. So anything that you guys can do and help us over there on Facebook by subscribing and sharing us out on your page there so more people can find us would be greatly appreciated. What do you think about this meme right here, Tammy Jo?
I stand with Trump, the most badass president of all time. I love it. I love it. You know, what is wrong with being so happy about somebody that is a great leader when you see him travel across the globe and make these deals, and you know he's putting America first, and you see how he's received by these foreign countries and the special ways he's received like no other president has. It's incredibly amazing, and it makes me very proud and honored. Like I said, nobody's perfect. We aren't going to agree with everything, but dang, what a difference from the last administration.
Boy, night and day, huh? Two totally different universes between the last 4 years that we had and now. It's even different than his first 4 years. Would you agree with that, Tammy?
Oh, yeah. And I think now, because he has more experience, because he had 4 years off to really review and spend time to reflect on his last administration, when he got reelected, he knew what he had to change and do to get accomplished what he wanted to, because even though he was fighting, we all are well aware of what he was fighting the first administration. Remember, he was new to it. This go around, He's not worried about it. He's had plenty of time to learn, grow, understand, and put forth an agenda that he wants to achieve. And he is not messing around. What do we have to lose? That's my thing. I don't understand the fear in some people. Fear is when we had the last go around, right? When we just felt so weak and broke and all that. Now we've got somebody actually fighting for us. It's not happening in our time frame, some of it. We are still upset about some things that haven't come to fruition. Do we have full trust in our government? Absolutely not. We still don't have that.
No.
It's going to take a long time to repair that. But
I don't think we can ever. I have to disagree with you, Tammy. I think that's the problem. We can never have full trust in our government. We can't, because that's when shit goes sideways and we get screwed. So we should never trust our government. We should always be on our toes, paying attention to the way they're voting, paying attention to who's funding them and what's going on. Never trust the government. I just have to say real quick, thank you so much to Angela H. She bought us a coffee, Tammy, and it says, "Congratulations, Liberty Warrior Nation!" Exclamation point. Thank you for that, Angela H. Every dime helps keep this thing going and to help pay the internet and all the software that we put out to have this show. So I can't say thank you enough, and to everyone else who's always supported this channel, thank you. Hold on a second. I got to go back to something real quick, Tammy, that was really cool, because I remember this. Crystal Chatwood, right?
Chatwood, yeah.
So years ago, when we used to do the silver giveaway, and for any of you who actually listened to what we said and bought silver and gold in the last 3 or 4 years, gold has now doubled and silver has damn near tripled. So anybody who actually listened to that and went out and did that, congratulations to you guys. Some of you have doubled your money and some of you have damn near tripled your money. But her comment was, "Can I win another silver coin?" And I remember when she won that silver coin and she called into the show, and it was so heartfelt that she had won something so special to her and she was going to keep it for her kids. And so the answer to that is possibly, I mean, we could get back into that. I don't mind doing it. I didn't make any money off of it. I told Tammy, asked me, "How much money have you made off of the gold and silver that you bought?" I said, "Well, I gave it all away to the audience. I have a couple of silver coins that I kept that somebody very special from our listening audience actually sent that to me for Christmas for me and my kids. That's the only silver coin that I kept because it was that special to me. So I kept those in my safe, but I've got like maybe 2 or 3 coins. I gave away all the other silver coins to all of our audience. So hopefully everybody got a little piece of that, that played with us and participated in that whole thing. And what we did, it was anybody who subscribed to the channel, paid that subscription every month, always got their name thrown in the hat. To be able to draw those names every month when we gave those away. So maybe we'll bring something like that back where anybody who buys us a coffee for the month, because we don't have those subscriptions anymore, anybody who buys us a coffee, we can talk about doing something like that later.
Yeah.
To answer that question.
Yeah. So I have a couple of short little videos to play, but before we do that, can we talk real quick? Because I loved your perspective on this when we had this conversation. So we know that oil just dropped under $58 a barrel, and some people are excited about it. India just agreed not to buy any more oil from Russia. I know that the president has said anybody that buys oil from anybody else, there are going to be problems. So India, who is big, it's a big consumer, did agree now. But I was thinking that's all really a good deal and it would push gas prices down and all of that eventually or whatever. Now, it hasn't dropped where I'm at very much at all, to be quite honest. Maybe it takes a while, but you had an interesting perspective on it working in the oil fields, and I thought that it would be great if you could share that.
Well, I worked in the oil fields for a decade, for 10 years. And when crude oil hit like $130 a barrel, and it was not cheap at the pump. It was right around $4 a gallon, just in like Idaho, North Dakota area. In California, it was $7, $8, $9 a barrel or a gallon. Sorry, and so it was very expensive. And at $130 a barrel, I mean, when you're working in the oil field, you're making money hand over fist. They're making so much profit. They're making billions and billions of dollars of profit that they'll pay you whatever it takes to get you to, one, drill that well, pump it out of the ground, and get it to the processing to get it to the gas stations to make the money. So when crude prices are super high, the oil companies, they're gangbusters. They're out there. We're working damn near 24/7, honestly. In 2013, 2014, I was working 7/12. Some guys were working 14-hour days, 16-hour days, and in the oil field, it was 24 hours a day. The oil rigs drill 24 hours a day. Back when I first started, it would take them weeks to set up an oil rig, and it'd take them a month to drill a hole. So it took a lot of time. Well, technology started getting better and better and better in the oil field, and they put tracks on the rigs to where instead of them taking a week to 2 weeks, 3 weeks to tear down and set up, Tammy, they would drill a pad that would have multiple wells on it, and it was like a tank. It would just kind of shift to the left or right, whichever direction they wanted to go, and within a couple of days, they're up and running, drilling holes again.
Wow.
So that's the world of the oil field. Just when it's high like that, it's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot of work going on. Here's the problem. Now, all of us bitch about the prices at the pump. I'm bitching about the prices at the pump. It's high, right? But it's supply and demand. And so when the oil prices crash, when I think the last time I remember, for oil companies to pretty much break even or stay profitable, they have to be at like $62 a barrel. Now, that's probably changed over the years, but that was the number the last time I was there. It was right around, if oil would stay at $62 a barrel, maybe it might have even been $72 a barrel, but it was somewhere in that area, the oil companies will still produce. Now, when it drops below that number, listen, I get it. For us being on fixed incomes and for us who live paycheck to paycheck, if an oil company sets a profit margin at 30%, and if they drop below that and they're at like 20% profit margin, they don't want to work that hard anymore. What they'll do is some of them will continue to drill, and then they'll cap those wells and wait for the price to go back up. So even though we see the cost of crude oil dropping, the cost per barrel dropping, and then you start seeing the cost at the pump start dropping, we all think that's great, and I do think that's great. And I'm not making the money I used to make in the oil field, so every penny counts, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is then oil companies are not going to continue to put out that kind of effort and that kind of work. They're going to cap these wells. They're going to slow production down. They're going to hold off, and oil is going to run like this.
Okay.
It's never gonna flatline. It's always gonna go up and down, up and down. I mean, it's been doing it for decades. So as oil comes down and the price of gas comes down, we're gonna love that. But eventually something will have to give, and it will eventually have to go back up, and that means the price of gas is going to go back up. And it also depends on politics. It also depends on restrictions and regulations. And John Estabrooks, he also spent a lot of time in the oil field, and he could probably tell you even better than I can because he was up the ladder a lot higher than I was doing all this stuff. But it's just a cycle, and I think we're in another one of those cycles. You're going to have a president who's going to try to drive the price down and do more drilling, and then you're going to have a president that's going to come in like we did in when Obama got in there, and also when Biden got in there, and they're going to put restrictions and all kinds of stuff in there, and then it's gonna push it back up. The LNG is booming, and that's natural gas. That's booming too. So, and that might be a conversation that I get. I talked to John Estabrooks last night. We're gonna put a show together where we talk about the sickness of 2020 and all that stuff. And so maybe I'll talk to him tomorrow, and we'll do another show that just focuses on nothing but the oil field, crude oil, gas prices, supply, demand, what's going on over in Russia and India not buying Russian fuel. Like, I know John Estabrooks is like he's not just an encyclopedia. He's like a freaking library of encyclopedias
The whole
when it comes to
collection.
knowledge. I mean, I don't know if I've ever met somebody quite quite like John Estabrooks, who's got so much knowledge. Like I told a friend of mine the other day, I just wish that there was some way that I could like plug in some kind of cord to me and download the shit that's in John's head and absorb some of that information so that I can carry that on. But yeah, I mean, I know people don't like to hear that, but that's the fact. It's just going to go up and down, up and down. And when it goes down, gas prices drop, but it can't stay there forever. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's never going to stay at $2 a barrel or $2 a gallon and $40 a barrel forever. It's never going to happen.
Well, see, that was the reason I wanted you to explain it, because that is something we fought up for years and decades. And John was saying that we didn't allow refineries to be built in the U.S. So my
Correct.
next question would be,
refineries. Refineries. And I can't remember. Maybe it's changed. I know in North Dakota we were trying to build a refinery. I don't know if it ever got finished. Pretty sure it did. But refineries, there hasn't been new refineries built, and maybe John can help correct me on this if I get dates wrong. But I want to say they stopped building refineries in the 70s, along with technology. So technology plays a huge part in the oil field. So when I first started, which John was in there even before I did, but when I first started in the oil field back in 2009 and 2010, 2011, so they got these holding tanks called tank batteries. They pump the crude into that. It goes through a separator. It goes into the tank batteries. The tank batteries are basically just a big holding cell and it waits for either the crude trucks to come and offload them and take them to the refinery, or sometimes they're now tied into the pipeline, and so they'll fill the tank batteries up and then pump them down the pipeline to the refinery. But I believe it was somewhere around the 70s was when we quit building refineries. And the technology from when I started, they used to have guys in there that go in there with a long tape measure and drop it down in those tank batteries to measure how much fuel is in there before they offload it. Well, from 2011 to 2015, everything got automated. So those guys lost their jobs. They got rid of those guys. They didn't need those guys going out measuring the tank batteries anymore. And so it was all automated. So that's the other thing when we talk about refineries, and they were built in the 1970s. And if they haven't caught up with automation and all the technology, those things are running behind. That's why we pump a lot of our crude across the border to Canada, and we refine a lot of that stuff in Canada. And then they ship it back either by truck or on the pipeline. Excuse me. My throat's getting a little scratchy here. But so there's a lot to do with the oil field. A lot of people don't even have a clue. They're just worried about the cost at the pump. And so we can't even, I guess my point to this is we can't even refine enough of the crude oil to keep maybe the cost down here in America, because we don't have the capacity and we don't have the technology to refine in America. That's why we ship it to Canada. Now, can we change that? Absolutely, we can change that. But again, that plays into politics. And when you have a regime, a government, when you have a president who absolutely is all green and doesn't want crude oil and shit, of course they're going to put restrictions on and do things that would cause us not to be able to afford to buy refineries or upgrade refineries. But if you get somebody in there like Trump who believes in that shit, then yeah, we could change that. We could build refineries, we can upgrade our technology, and that would keep the crude oil here in America instead of pumping it to Canada. Now, we do refine stuff here in America, but it's not at the capacity that we should be able to. EPA. Thank you, John. Look at the new EPA. Thank you.
After all these decades, it would be nice that they could figure it out if they wanted to. But once again, it's about power control.
That honey
money.
Feels good on. That honey feels good.
We still have a lot.
That was a lot. You made me talk for a while there.
I didn't try to, but that's good. But yeah, it's we still have different pollens in the air, so I'll get a tickle every now and again too, especially sitting outside.
Yeah, we still have a couple of things teed up here, Tammy, and we're rolling a little past an hour, which is fine. Just want to let you know.
Let's go to, so you guys, these are a couple little videos that I found. If everybody remembers David Steele, because I say as time passes, we forget what they say. We forget things out there. We have little talking points we remember. But then you go into, when you see these videos and it shows the different clips and puts it together, it's just amazing what you see, what you remember, what
You want
you
the
recall.
India one?
So let's there's no India one. We don't need that. We're going to
Okay.
go to number 5 and 6. So number 5 is going to be
Hillary?
the Hillary video,
Okay.
Bill Gates with Robert Steele.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool.
Hold on here. Hold on.
Oh, Cheryl, you know what? We've talked about doing another Thanksgiving or Christmas show. Cheryl said you guys need to let your hair down some night and do a show like you did that one Thanksgiving. I never laughed so hard. I know we're all serious covering all the stuff of the world, but we really want to get into aliens and Bigfoot and all that funky stuff as well, and AI and all that kind of stuff. So we'll get there eventually.
All right, here we go. I'm going to have to unmute this thing over here. Can you guys please give me a 5x5 in the chat if you guys can hear this when I get it started here, please? All right, here we go. It's go time.
Is perhaps the world's biggest charity fraud outside of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which is sterilizing women worldwide with fraudulent vaccines. Okay. And the New York Police Department leaking some final emails which demonstrated conclusively that Hillary Clinton is a traitor and probably a pedophile and absolutely a high-level thief. They documented conclusively, A, that she had sent classified information to IP addresses in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. She sold Libya to the French. She sold Syria and Yemen to the Saudis. She sold U.S. uranium to the Russians. All for massive amounts of money. In fact, she also sold the NATO Secretary Generalship to the Norwegian Prime Minister, who the Norwegians are now very ashamed of. Now, why should we take down the deep state? Because until we take down the deep state, we will be slaves. We will be the oppressed. Federal Reserve has to go. There's just no question about it. Until the Federal Reserve is nationalized, they own the United States and the United States government. They own the U.S. government, the U.S. economy, and U.S. society. The Clinton Foundation is perhaps the world's biggest charity fraud.
All right, boom. All right.
So that was a mouthful there. Once again, it's not positive things and upstanding dealings and wheelings. It's underhanded bad stuff that is connected to them. Robert David Steele unfortunately passed away in 2021 from COVID and the treatment for COVID, apparently. But who was he? He was an American case officer for the Central Intelligence Agency. He was also co-founder of the United States Marine Corps Intelligence Agency, and then they label him as a conspiracy theorist. But my point is, he was saying things that how would we know, the average person, if we didn't hear what he said and look into it ourselves, that she sold us out to Libya and sold this and that? Those are dealings that don't really make the news or a big deal in the news. So that's why I always say you have to dig deeper. You can't just say, well, you don't like Hillary or the Clintons, so you're just accusing them of things, or it's just talking points. When you start digging deeper into some of these things that are talked about, it's very scary. Now, it may take you a while to find it because a lot of it's wiped out or buried, but I just found that very interesting. I've been surfacing on my social medias different videos from him, and I hadn't realized how much he had to say about everybody and everything.
He was awesome, man. I was sad to hear that he had passed. It hit all of us pretty big, and of course there's always speculation on that too, right?
Sure. Yes. Okay, so let's go to the next video and the last video. And I would like to see what the people that are watching has to say about this, because it's about what is the deep state video. And I'd like to know if they agree with this or if they don't. Just their opinions about it, actually, because this is a great explanation, I think.
All right. Hold on. I got so many buttons I got to push.
I know. It's okay.
I don't want to have any kind of feedback, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to do this so we don't have echo. All right, Let me unmute this and we'll go for it. Give me another 5x5 in chat if everything sounds good, please.
the deep state, which is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Chabad Jews. And then they use the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers, and they use the City of London, Wall Street, central banks as managers. That's the deep state. Below the deep state is the shadow government, which is comprised of the politicians and senior bureaucrats, many of the murderous pedophiles that have been brought into the pedophilia system as a control blackmail element. Those are the shadow government people, but they're not the deep state. They're the best of the servant class. The different ways in which the deep state, and particularly the Zionist supporting foundation for the deep state, which has the Anti-Defamation League as its primary secret police, they censor, manipulate, and digitally assassinate people. And the reason they do this is because those people are getting close to the truth.
Yeah.
I distinguish between the deep state, which is the Vatican, the Rothschilds, and the Chabad Jews. And then they use the Freemasons and the Knights of Malta as fixers, and they
I'm sorry. Are
That's
we
okay.
just going over
That's
it again?
okay. Yeah, but see how he breaks it down, and there's different levels, which makes sense because sometimes people think the deep state is just one level and they do all these different things. But there is a hierarchy to this. Whether everything he said was true or not, I find it very interesting that there was that breakdown that way, and it makes a lot of sense to me. That is why everything has to be taken apart and start over and build it back up, because these webs of corruption, these webs of people, money, all the children, all the devious bad stuff is everywhere.
It's
from
deep. It goes
It's just
way
so
deep.
deep. And I thought that was just a very simple, wonderful explanation. And it is, yes, Angela H., a very large web. So,
Well, like I
the-
said, there's speculations on how he actually passed. I mean, they blamed it on COVID-19, but he was putting out so much of that type of information. Was it COVID-19? I mean, here's the question. Let's ask the audience. So I like to interact with the audience. I'm going to get better at interacting with the audience. Here's my question. For those of you who know David Robert Steele, is that right? Or Robert? Well, I'm
Robert.
sorry.
Now you got me. It's Robert David Steele.
Robert, I say names wrong all the time.
do, he
Robert
does.
David Steele.
That hasn't
So those
changed.
of you who know Robert David Steele, do you believe that his passing was an accident, meaning just an accident, or a sickness? Or do you guys think that maybe it was the deep state or someone else playing a part in his demise? Just that's my question. If you're watching us later, there's no live chat. Go ahead and put your comment there at the bottom of the video. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say.
Well, this has been many years, many people, like we say, deep. It is deep on all different levels. So you've got the little worker bees all the way up to the king bees, right? So why can't it just be cut and dry? If there isn't all this crazy, corrupt, devious, bad stuff going on, why is it always questionable when something happens? It's not very obvious and upfront. Even with Charlie, I'll say with Charlie Kirk, that I am still pondering over, looking into. I am not settled with that at all, and I think a lot of people aren't. Now, did everybody move on quite quickly into other things? Absolutely, they did. Should we focus on, what happened to him until we get answers? I think yes, because that's another one that was questionable. Look at how long we've been wondering about JFK, and we're finally learning about that. And a lot of our assumptions, or I don't even want to say assumptions, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, the ugly puzzle, fit. And we're seeing that we were pretty much right all along. And that is why we have to just stay diligent, and we have to
Oh, my God.
realize.
Look at this
Whether-
comment.
What?
Read the
Oh,
comment.
I love that. Valhalla's getting very full. That is another thing. Awaken
Yeah.
Trillium. Cash Patel saying, see you, buddy, in Valhalla. Mike looked that up, and we looked it up, and we found out it is an actual place. And if Charlie believed in Jesus Christ, why didn't he say, see you in your heaven, brother? He didn't say that.
Where?
So I don't know. There's a lot we can go on with, but yeah. But that's what I pretty much have today.
That's awesome. Appreciate you putting this together, Tammy. I appreciate everybody that jumped in here with us this afternoon. I couldn't do an evening show because I had plans for this evening, so that's why we decided to do an afternoon show. So if you guys enjoyed this, enjoy us being back, do us a huge favor by smashing that like button. I think last night we got like 245 likes or something like that. So if we get 240, 250 likes, that'll help the algorithm. Hit that notification bell if you don't want to miss a live. Hopefully it'll work. I mean, it's worked for some people after 3 years. So some of the notifications still work. If you have unsubscribed to us, please consider to resubscribe. And if you found us for the first time, consider that. Share us out on all your platforms. If you can do that, that would be great too. And again, hey, there's Jay. Good to see you.
Hey, Jay.
Jay from Texas.
Oh,
I was just
yeah.
thinking about, he popped up on my Facebook the other day, and I was thinking about reaching out to Jay. Good to see you, Jay. Hopefully you and your beautiful wife are doing well.
Yeah.
But so we've never gone anywhere. For those of you who are finding us again after 3 years, we just had to keep building channels, and we tried to put it out the best we could so people could find us. So if you're just finding us again, thanks for finding us. And we've always been on Facebook. So our Facebook got taken over. We had 15,000 subscribers. We're rebuilding that. The wonderful mods keep dropping the link there in chat. You guys can grab that. Hop over to Facebook. Follow us there because Tammy is always putting stuff in there every day. The newest breaking news on the Facebook page. So if you guys want to keep up to date with that, follow us over there on Facebook. And it is so good to see Jay. I'm not kidding. I was just thinking about
it's
him
been a while.
when we were talking about the devotions and stuff, Tammy.
Yeah.
I used to enjoy having Jay come on with me. And
I know, yeah.
it just, we need to get back to the old stuff. I really believe that.
Just having conversations and doing the old stuff. We don't need all the fancy, bells and whistles, just doing what we do and talking with our audience. I absolutely love it. And like I said earlier, they're very smart. They participate. They share their knowledge with us. They don't expect us to know everything and be right. They share their knowledge with everybody in the audience and us too. And that's what this community has always been about.
Absolutely. Well, let's roll into final thought before we get out of here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to break this up now that we figured out why last night's show wasn't in there. I'm going to, if you got time, you can work on it, but I want to cut this up into some shorts and share that out. So when you guys see this show in the shorts, if you guys can share that out when it pops up in your feed, I've got to get like 3 million views just to get some of my stuff back on Facebook. So we had this all done, and then they gave it back. Very grateful for that, but they gave it back. It's kind of like when somebody borrows your car and they bring it back with dings and scratches on it and missing a door. That's kind of how our YouTube channel is right now. It's got some dings and some scratches. So every time that you guys hit the like button, every time you share us out, every time you subscribe, when you see our shorts, if you share that out and more people see it, that's going to help us get this thing back in perfect running condition again, and I'm excited for that, Tammy.
Yeah, I am too. And thank you for everybody. Like I said, always participating,
Trucker,
sharing.
Tammy.
Trucker. Yeah, he calls me a trucker for these headphones. You're just so bad. But, I wanted to give a final thought to today. Let's just stay in prayer and hope that this No Kings protest gets over with and it's calm and quiet. Don't forget, President Trump is the president of peace. He wants peace. He's settled 8 wars. He's working on some more. And I think that is very positive and good for everybody. Remember, it's not just us, it's everybody else and their children and kids. I'm all for settling and him going and traveling to settle wars. I'm not about shipping out money to fund wars, but the conversation and to be had in Trump and us to pay for Air Force One to travel to do some good like that. I'm all about it. And we just have to stay positive, you guys, and stay strong because, boy, I got weak a few times. I got tired a few times, mentally exhausted. Yes. But, there's always light at the end of the tunnel and the storm can't last forever.
Well, here's my final thought. There's a couple of people asking for the link for Facebook there in chat. So if one of you wonderful mods can drop that in there, I would appreciate it. Thank you to it was Angela H that bought us the coffee, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Angela H, for the coffee. Appreciate it. Want to say that again. Here's my final thought. I can't stress this enough. Keep your faith in one person, one man, and that's Jesus Christ. I can't put my faith in anyone else. Now, does God have David's? Absolutely. But again, my faith is solely in one person, and that's Jesus Christ. Keep that faith, and I believe the best is yet to come.
Absolutely.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and sign off.
We're gonna be
Trucker
out of here.
Tammy, you want
Yeah.
you want to do the trucker sign
And
off?
horn, doot doot. Yeah, here we go. I'll pull the horn. Boop boop. Bye everybody.
All right, guys. We'll
Enjoy
see you
your
on the next
weekend.
one. See ya.
Bye.